What's up guys, how y'all doing? Cosmic Carry here, bringing over World of Tanks video. For those of you that are new here, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and for my regular viewers and subscribers, hello, welcome one all, and as always a like would be greatly appreciated. And today I shall be reviewing the HE ammo of the Death Star. When I did my little experiment, it was all about the HESH ammo. I did not review the HE ammo, and I figure it deserves a look. It is very important when it comes to the Death Star. So let's compare the two. Basically, as you can see, the HESH damage and the HE ammo are pretty much exactly the same, 1300 to 2100, but the penetration is significantly lower on the HE ammo, 69 to 115 compared to 200 to 340 on the HESH. But take a look at the cost, 8,000 silver coins for HESH, whereas HE is just 1900. Now this is HE seriously needs to be considered as a viable, source of ammo for the Death Star when it comes to cost, because the cost is so significantly lower. But another thing to factor in is that when it comes to splash damage, HE and HESH perform exactly the same. The only difference is the penetration. But if you're basically going to be a Death Star that's just going to be rolling around inflicting splash damage, if that's your way of thinking, go for it. Why don't you go for it? Absolutely. Because 9 times out of 10 you're simply not going to penetrate with this round unless you find that weak spot. So let's review some shots. As you can see, I'm zooming in on this M103. I know I'm not going to penetrate, so I don't bother zooming in all the way, and as you can see, I get 681 splash damage on that M103. Unbelievable. And this is one of the old rare moments where I actually did manage to penetrate with the HE. I get my shot in there and get the full amount of hit points taken off that tank, 1012. Unbelievable. But like I said, this is very rare. Facing off with the Death Star, but this Death Star was a little bit different. I believe he'd run out of rounds basically, and I could see him bouncing up and down. I'm not going to attempt to penetrate, try and be accurate, so I just unload so I can attempt to get a second shot in on him, because as you can see the timer is running out, and it would have been possible for me to unload a second shot and get the kill, but lo and behold, along comes Mr. Owen and kill steals. And what is common with all these shots is I don't bother to zoom in. I'm just there for the splash damage, so I don't bother to zoom in on the way. As you can see with this E5, I just kind of get it there. Basically I know it's gonna make contact, so I'm good to go. Take a look at this, using the wall. I do this all the time, even in my E100. IS7, no way. But splash damage, no problemo. 695 splash damage. Good to go. Jagdpanzer E100, he's on a minuscule amount of health, so it makes no difference where I hit him. Just make contact with the target, hit anywhere, it doesn't really matter, and I get the kill. Fantastic. As you can see, I'm not zooming in, I'm not being accurate, and you there's a buttload of potential damage that can be inflicted. Look, take a look at this. I didn't even zoom in, but it was kind of last stand situation. And the evening concluded with this game of Mines, and I kind of played I'd say 10-12 games with the HE rounds, and I realized for the most part all I was getting was splash damage. For the most part all I was getting was splash damage. So I kind of wanted to perform like a little experiment when I went into this game. Pardon me. And that was to kind of act like a bit of, I guess, a noob, because I'm a noob, in a tier 10 noob, I guess, because all I can do is inflict splash damage. So if all I can do is inflict splash damage, that means I don't have to zoom in. That means all I have to do is make contact with the tank. So I wanted to see basically how effective can I be in a HE Death Star. You know, do I really need to be, you know, strategic, smart, this and that, or can I just use brute force, you know, to win the game? Basically, can I hold down a flank? Can I obliterate tanks? Can I, you know, how OP are these rounds? Because like I said, you know, they're not as they're a different kind of OP compared to the HESH rounds, because the HESH rounds, you know, if you penetrate, then it's seriously OP. But with these HE rounds, you're guaranteed so much splash damage, you know, as long as you make contact with the tank. Keep in mind, you don't bounce. You never bounce. Every single shot, if you make contact with the target, that's it. You're good to go. Nothing else. That's all you need to do. So and I was kind of too small a target, and I was kind of scratching my head and saying, do people do this? You know, do they, you know, play the game this way? Because to me, it's like I said before, I really felt dirty and like I was cheating when I was using these rounds, these HE rounds and the HESH rounds. And I kept on saying to myself, like before, you know, where's the skill? Where is the skill in doing this? You know, doing what I'm doing? Because as you can see, that E5 with an AP round bounced 100% of the time. If I had an AP round, I would have bounced. But with this HE round, no problemo. He just so much as pokes up his turret, poof, you know, I am gonna unload and watch. And I'm not even zooming in. I'm barely zooming in. You know, your accuracy, you don't need to, you know, have that much accuracy. You don't have to be that accurate. And it just kind of reminds you of like a nut job noob play, you know, skillless, you know, mindless, just obliterating, you know, enemy tanks. And I keep on going back to, you know, that same phrase, you know, where's the skill? Where's the skill? But what I've been doing lately is doing a lot of reviews of my tanks, and in doing so, you're going to see me, Mr. Owen, having a bit of a tussle here. In doing so, I looked at other people's reviews of tanks, you know, Quickie Baby and Jingles, and, you know, a whole bunch of other, you know, tank reviews, you know, to kind of get pointers, interesting facts, etc., etc. But what was common with all these tanks is tank reviews is a lot of them would review the tanks and favor premium rounds. You know, they would favor the premium rounds. Use the premium rounds. The E100, you have to use premium rounds. If you don't use premium rounds, you're not gonna pen. And all of the reviews of the Death Star use HESH, and I've realized kind of then and there that I'm kind of like I'm in a different bracket when it comes to being a World of Tanks player, because I don't use premium. You know, I really don't. On a regular basis, I do not use premium. In my E100, most of my videos, I don't even have, a lot of them I don't have premiums. Oh, there we go, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't even have premiums loaded onto the thing. And I think in one of my videos I said, oh, I'm gonna load up my premiums, and I wasn't even loading up premiums I was loading up HEs. That's how much of a noob I was when it came to any other ammo apart from regular standard AP ammo. And I'd say up until about 2 months ago, my bread and butter when it came to ammo on all my tanks was just regular AP ammo. That's what I would use, AP ammo. You know, I learned how to play my E100 with my AP ammo, and nice side shot, splash damage, no problemo. Where's the skill? There is none. But what I'm trying to say is, everybody else that I'm up against on a day-to-day basis in World of Tanks, is everybody just, for the most part, running premiums? You know, running and gunning with premium ammo. You know, has this been my my handicap? You know, when it bouncy 100, when it came to you know, winning games and losing games, and I just never ever knew it, because I always thought premium rounds too expensive, and I feel like I'm cheating. You know, I genuinely do. But anyway, we're gonna come back to this in a minute. So we're gonna come back to what I'm talking about in a minute. Let's continue onwards and upwards, and as you can see, it's 9-9. Zoom in, and I did zoom in somewhat there, but it was kind of a bit of a tight shot, and I ended up missing that Conqueror. But with the splash damage, if I had hit him, I definitely would have got him. Waiting for my gun to load up, and as you can see, that E100 has pulled all the way back, and he basically respects my rounds, because he's seen that E5 get taken out, and whatever that was, that other heavy that I took out. So he's decided he's going to go through town, and he's going to obliterate all my compadres in town. Oh, here's the Conqueror. Bit more, lousy gun depression. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. As you can see in this game, I'm very hesitant to push up, and that's because I have a deep respect for the Wolfentrager. Well, I hate the thing basically, and I know if I push too deep and get too cocky, you know, he's gonna take me out. So I kind of take it easy and let the bad guys come to me. Let them make, you know, a mistake, because I got a whole bunch of OP shells loaded in my gun, or just 6 actually. And I've been 6th sensed. I'm very apprehensive about pushing any further, because I know to the left of me, up in those hills, and see, detected, 6th sensed, and I'm wondering, is that Wolfentrager? That Wolfentrager is up there, and he's eyeballing me. I know he's eyeballing me. And now for a second I consider going up to the top of the hill, but I know then I'm going to expose my left hand side, because I you know, I've done this a million times. You know, I know exactly where he is. Yep. And I'm very apprehensive about going up here, because I don't want to lose any health. It is what it is. It's a cardboard tank. As you can see, the E100 has disappeared. He was in town, but all my compadres have also disappeared from the town. In other words, he's obliterated everyone. Don't manage to zoom in enough, and as you can see, the shot went straight over that E3's head. Bounce, I'm assuming that was, what was that, the E50? And right behind me is a fellow TD, and I didn't know this to like rewatch this gameplay, but he has just come from the town. He's been chased by the E100, and I'm trying to get a bead on the Waffentrager, trying to see can I, and there he is, there he is, there he is, and I'm desperate to get a shot in on him, absolutely desperate. I let one rip and I know it's not going to work, but what the hey. And lo and behold, behind me, the E100 appears. And I instantly know what I gotta do. Splash damage galore. So he sees me. He knows what kind of shells I've got loaded. He lets one rip. I set his engine on fire. I do believe I managed to penetrate there. Possibly, maybe, I'm not sure. It should have been a higher damage roll. But anyhow, I know I've got 951 hit points left. He needs at least 2 shots. So he's going to ram me. And guess what's about to happen? Noob HE player revealed. I kill him and myself. Friendly splash damage. What an idiot. But as you can see in this game, I managed to place second, and I thought my performance in this game was pretty subpar. It wasn't me at my best. It was literally me just gung-ho, fending off the bad guys, not using that much skill, not using that much accuracy. Just, oh, you want to come and have a go if you think you're hard enough? Whack on the head. Again, whack on the head. This guy, whack on the head. And it's kind of like a bully tank, if you want to call it. But what is interesting to me is, like I said, I've been doing a lot of tank reviews, and I've noticed a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers, when they review the tanks, they always recommend, a lot of them will recommend using the premium ammo. And it's like I said before, I haven't been using premium ammo. And what's interesting is, I didn't mention this previously when I went and did the video of my garage. I didn't talk about my stats. Let's take a look at my stats. Now if you take a look at my stats, you can see my overall win percentage is 49%. That was at 51, 52%, and it dropped a couple of points due to the Death Star. I remember this. But anyway, as you can see, I'm average, 50-50. Most of my tanks 50-50. They're right around the 50% mark. I'm totally, absolutely 100%, nothing special, average. But some people might look at my stats and say, these are terrible stats, these are abysmal stats, these stats, whatever. I couldn't give a toss, really. But what's interesting to me is, like I said, these stats, what I'd like to say about these stats, which is actually kind of interesting, these stats represent a player who's been playing since day one on World of Tanks. But I don't use premiums, I don't use premium shells, I don't use premium ammo. Up until about a month ago, I started doing tank reviews, and I noticed about the premiums, and I kind of started using them here, there. But do I use them on a regular basis, non-stop? Are they my favored, shell of choice? No, they're not. These stats represent a player who 99% of all the stats up on screen, premium shells weren't used. Premium shells were not used, just regular standard shells, AP shells. So when you look at other people's stats, and you look at my stats, and you look at, somebody's got better stats than myself, somebody's got worse stats, I kind of, I ask myself, if somebody's got like a 60%, win, 60% victories, is that because they're simply using premiums? Is that because they're simply using premiums? So you got to ask yourself, are my stats a true representation of who I am because I don't use premiums? Are the guy who has 60% victories a true representation of what kind of player he is because he uses premium shells? So it kind of begs the question, what are the points of stats? If you look at stats, how do you know if they're using premiums or they're not using premiums? Because I could go out with my Death Star, with my HESH rounds, and play 500, 1,000 games right now, and I'm sure it would increase, my percentages. I'm sure I could lift it up to 60% or whatever it is percent, and so would my stats then be a true representation of how good I was? Because then my stats would signify that I'm good if I lifted it up to 60%, because I went out like a mindless killing machine and just obliterated a whole bunch of bad guys in my HESH Death Star without using any skill, accuracy, tactics, strategy. So you got to ask yourself, looking at people's stats, they don't paint a true picture. And then I was asking myself again, what could you put in the stats when it comes to, usage of premium ammo? Possibly they could put something in there, some figures like cost per average shell use, or maybe number of average premium shells used per battle. So the person that has the high number of victories and boasts about it, and etc, etc, you could say, but look at this, 90% of your battles you used premium ammo. So anyhow, I'm gonna wrap this up because I can go on forever and ever. Take it easy, guys. Adios, muchachos.